dragon.
Hey guys, what's up? Oscar here for Not a Grouch, notagrouch.com. Go visit it, go check it out. Click like, subscribe, all the good stuff. And whoa, they're making big changes here. I just drove by a Trader Joe's they're remodeling. So in any case, I want to talk to you a little bit about WordPress yet again. What a surprise, right? So the reason I want to talk to you about it is because some people say, well, isn't this better and isn't this better? How come these people use this? And that's really just, it's a normal question I get all the time. The analogy someone said, I was in a conversation and one person said, well, why can't I just use this? Or why can't I just use that? I'll mention the names in a minute, but the other person says something that is completely inaccurate. And I want to make sure that if you hear this, you know that that person doesn't know what they're talking about at all. That person said, oh, it's just a matter of preference. It's like when you go buy a car, some people like to buy a Toyota Camry and other people like to buy a Honda Accord. And that's absolutely not the case. Using WordPress versus other systems is not just a matter of choice. There are so many different layers of why WordPress is better that it doesn't really compare in that way. For example, if you go get a Honda and a Toyota, or if you're looking between, say, a Honda Accord and a Toyota Camry, the two most popular cars for each of those brands, you are going to get more or less the same thing, just different brands, slightly different features. The buttons are going to look different, where the shifting gear is maybe different. Maybe one has a little bit of technology that the other one doesn't have, and things like that. At the end of the day, it's a vehicle that sits 5 people that takes you from A to B with really good gas mileage, really good reliability, outstanding warranty, support, all that stuff. Price may be a little bit different, but they're in the same class. WordPress is in a class of its own because it is both free but also profitable. If you run a website with WordPress, you can make a profit. And it's not WordPress that does it, it's what you do with it. If you run a website with, say, Blogger, your profits are going to be very, very hard to find. It's just very hard to get a Blogger website to last a long time and also be profitable. They're great for some things, but not as flexible as WordPress. There's also the principle of how WordPress is built that makes it so important. WordPress has changed the world. Some of the other things like Shopify, take Shopify for example. Shopify is a good example of very specific purpose. Shopify does e-commerce, and you can do e-commerce in a matter of minutes. You can be up and running and you're ready to go. But if you want to deviate from that just a little bit, you can't. It's difficult. If you want to add custom code, you're going to find it's very expensive to find a good developer that will do not only what you need, but that will do it right. It also costs money up front. You have to be paying for it right away on a monthly basis, ongoing, whether you're selling your stuff or not. I've seen so many people have a great idea to sell a product. They say, oh, I just started a Shopify store. And they start a Shopify store, and 3 months later, they quit because they haven't made money and they keep paying into their monthly fee and they give up. There's nothing wrong with Shopify. There's nothing wrong with Blogger. There's nothing wrong with any other, well, I mean, there are some things wrong with some platforms, but for the most part, all of them have their strengths and their weaknesses, WordPress included. But the reason why you use WordPress, for me, from my perspective, is because it's free as in beer, like free beer. You download it and now it's yours. You can use it, do whatever you want with it. It's also free and open source, which is critical. Open source is one of the most important things that people don't know or understand. Open source is the idea that you can look at the code of the software that you're using for review or modification, and you can make modifications without restriction. That is crucial to humanity as a whole. Other big open source projects that you may know about and not realize they're open source are Firefox, the underlying operating system for Mac, OS X, is built around open source. Windows is now doing a lot of open source stuff. And the reason why that's so important is because it prevents people from doing malicious stuff with your code, from taking over and doing a tech monopoly. Like you see Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those people have a hold on their audience, and you don't really know what's going on. You don't know how the algorithm works. You don't know how the code works. You don't know if the code is tracking you, how far it's tracking you, what extent of it is tracking you, and all those things. That's because it's closed source. Open source means you can review the code, you can change it, you can say, oh, you know what, I don't want this piece of code here, and you can remove it. Of course, you have to have the ability to do that, but any PHP developer can do that. PHP is a language in which most of WordPress is written. Now they're introducing a lot of other stuff, but it's still open source. You can go and read the code, understand what it does, modify it. You can build a new addition for it and say, oh, I want WordPress to do this way. And you do it without asking anybody for permission. You simply just do it. And that is what is so beautiful about WordPress. That is why I recommend WordPress more than any other piece of software out there. In the part that is profitable, that is really up to you. Just like it is up to you to make Shopify profitable, it is up to you to make WordPress profitable. You can install a plugin named WooCommerce, and you can start running a web shop just like Shopify, maybe even better. And it didn't really cost you anything. You can start putting content out there and put some links to affiliate products and start selling that. You could start a website where you collect payments for whatever type of service you offer. The list goes on about all the things that you can do with WordPress. But if you go into Shopify or say Squarespace, now you're stuck with them. You can't really change a lot of the stuff in there. You don't know how the code works, so you don't know what kind of things you can do to improve that code or to modify it to suit your own needs. And that is what really gives you a lot of freedom with WordPress that I think is the best thing that you could have. WordPress takes a little bit of learning, but there are so many resources out there that help you get started, how to post, how to do basically everything. And all you have to do is watch some YouTube videos. When you say, oh, how do I make a link? You go to YouTube and say, how do I make a link on WordPress? You will find a 3-minute video on how to do that. You say, how do I post a picture on WordPress? You go to YouTube and look for that. Somebody has a video teaching you how to post a picture on YouTube, on WordPress. Whatever example I can come up with, there is somebody out there that shows you on WordPress. For some of the most advanced things that you can do with WordPress, or maybe I should say sophisticated, like how do I build an affiliate marketing website? That may require you to watch a few videos or even buy a training course that tells you how to do that. So it all depends what you want to do, but the knowledge is out there for you to just use it. With Shopify, they may or may not have a knowledge base, or they want you to do things a certain way, not necessarily the best way for you. So the analogies are not the same. It's more like saying, oh, the difference between WordPress and all these other platforms is not just a matter of preference, it's a matter of function. It would be more like saying, it's like buying a Honda versus buying an 18-wheeler. Yeah, they both take you around and they both take fuel and have wheels to move, but they're not the same. So don't let people tell you that it's just a matter of choice. No, it's a matter of principle, it's a matter of functionality, it's a matter of freedom, it's a matter of a lot more than just a choice. So consider WordPress next time you use this, and as I mentioned before, use WordPress.org, not WordPress.com. Talk to you guys later. Bye.